everybody. Ben Nelson, the everyday real estate investor, here with another episode of the podcast. Thanks for tuning in again, and just really appreciate all of the support out there and encouragement, and the listeners that are hopefully, if you're listening to this, you're gaining a lot of mindset and experience and learning a lot of things. And again, that's really the idea, and the point is to continue to push each other to do better, that we can do more, to overcome those limiting beliefs that we don't have the right tools, we don't have the right experience, we don't have enough time, whatever that is in your mind, in your life, that is trying to hold you back. That you have to let's overcome that. Let's make it happen. Let's go out there and do some big things, and not just for ourselves, but for the ability to help other people. And a tangent here right off the bat. I think that's where really a lot of people get hung up, and I know I have, is when you become inwardly focused on, this is what I need to do for me, instead of trying to focus on how you're serving other people in a way that can also benefit you, right? So I think if you focus more on what you can contribute to the lives of others and how you can solve their problems, that is going to give you the opportunities to also help yourself. So we're going to dive into, I know we just did mindset last week. I was planning on doing another finance update for everybody this week, because there's a lot going on in the finance world. But our friend and lender, Grant, is not feeling well. So I hope he's feeling better soon. But the next week we should have that update going for you. So make sure you listen to that, because there's a lot going on in the finance world. And I think some very positive things that are going to, I think he's going to be able to share some things they're going to show we're heading in a positive direction. So I'm looking forward to that, having him on the next podcast or next episode. So keep your eyes open for that one when that comes out. But we're going to jump into mindset again here one more time before we get back into the market side of it and strategy and everything. Hopefully you don't mind the mixing it up. I think it's super important to have both sides, because without the mindset side, you're not going to be as successful as you could be. You can have all the knowledge about all the tools, all the strategies, how to run all the numbers. You could be perfect at that and have all of that dialed in. And if you don't have the mindset piece, then you just aren't going to be as effective. So let's jump into it. This is what I'm calling this one mindset hacks. So this is just a lot of different pieces of mindset, a lot of different things to be aware of in your own thought process, things that I've learned through the years, things that I've picked up just from other people. A lot of this is from, I've experienced myself, but has been brought to my attention from other mentors and things like that. So hopefully this is all helpful to you. Again, these are things, maybe all of these aren't going to apply to you, but I guarantee you there's at least a couple in here that hopefully change your perspective a little bit, and you can start evaluating in your own life a little bit more, and figuring out maybe what you need to adapt and how you need to change that, right? So the first one is, so this is more of just a being prepared thing, but be flexible, right? So I had to make a shift. Grant wasn't able to make it today, so what do I have? What's plan B? What can I pivot to make sure I get an episode out this next week, right? And I think it's really easy, at least I know I have gotten where you get these plans in place, you have these goals, you get really dialed in on what you need to do, which is all great. You definitely want to have goals and plans and know what you need to do to accomplish those things. But it's really easy to kind of get really stringent on that as far as what that has to look like, when really it's hard to you can put yourself in a position where you think you know what you're going to have come your way, but you don't really know, right? So you can make a goal to do a certain number of deals or make a certain amount of money or whatever, but you don't really know what kind of opportunities are going to come your way, right? So you can have a goal, and it's not necessarily that you didn't do the right things to hit that goal, or to complete those plans, the number of transactions, number of people helped, whatever it is for that year. It just maybe the right opportunities didn't come up. So and maybe you have to pivot a little bit into what you're wanting, or what you can do, and the things that you can accomplish for that season, right? So it's really easy to beat yourself up if you don't reach a goal and reach a milestone, whatever. And yes, you want to hold yourself accountable. You want to reach those goals. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be trying to reach your goals, obviously, but you also have to give yourself a little bit of slack, right? So sometimes things just don't go your way. You don't get the right opportunities, and there's the flip side of that too, right? Where you can have a plan to go a certain direction and a different kind of opportunity, but maybe a better opportunity comes up. But if you're so focused on, well, this is where I'm honed in on, and so you don't see the opportunity or you turn it away, now you're missing out on something that you could move on, because you're so stringent on what you are focused on. And again, I'm all for being focused. You definitely need to have clarity and focus, but you also have to have a little bit of flexibility in there as well. So hopefully that makes sense. This one, especially I think right now, as we're heading into the holiday season, and this is something that I struggle with. I think in most people in here in America struggle with this, and just different mentors that I've had in the past. It's really easy to just get focused on. I'm going to say what it is. So maybe let's do that. So in a go world, it's okay to step back a bit and give yourself permission to not go for a little bit, right? We're so focused on achievement and on accomplishing all these goals. And again, none of those things are bad, but we sacrifice self, and we sacrifice a lot of times what's we say is most important, our family and our free time and all these things that we say we're working towards, and we're really not. We're spending all of our time chasing our goals and not actually spending time on those things that we say we're working for, right? And that we're wanting. So I have a hard time just like turning myself off and not doing anything, right? And to just sit and be is very difficult for me. And now I've gotten better at it by encouragement by my wonderful wife. But I'm really bad at it. I need to be doing something almost all the time. So, and I think part of it is like, for a long time anyway, my mind was like, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be trying to, find another deal. I should be trying to call more clients. I should be trying to do all the things that I have to do on a daily basis to keep my business running, right? But you know what? It's okay. I finally give myself permission to say it's okay. You can shut off for a little bit. It's not healthy to be in your business 100% of the time. And when you're an entrepreneur, your mind is just always there. It's just always thinking about opportunities and how you can change your business for the better and all the things that you have to do. And so it's really hard to do, but you have to train yourself to do it. Whether that's sitting down and watching a show at the end of the day, whether that's playing video games with your kids, whatever it is, and again, these were things that for a while, my mindset and my surroundings were that this was a waste of time, right? It's a waste of time to sit down and spend 30 minutes watching a show. Well, you know what? That's fine. If that's how if that's how people view it, I look at it as you have to do something to unwind, and you can't be constantly going or you're going to burn out. That's the bottom line. So this was a big one for me, just having to figure out that it's okay to just be every once in a while. I don't have to be going from when I get up at 5:30 in the morning all the way till when I'm sitting down finally at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It's not healthy. I can take time with my family, and I can take time to just sit and watch a show or whatever that looks like. So and sometimes the very best thing you can do is stop for a bit. Just stop pursuing, stop running, stop just going. And that way you can refresh your thought process and get some more clarity, and you can actually be more effective moving forward because you've taken that time to rejuvenate and relax and rest. So I guess encouragement there in the holiday season here, especially, make sure that you're taking time to do that. Okay, I'm going to move on because I took a lot of time on those first two. Don't compare your success. Don't compare your success or lack thereof to others. And I say lack thereof, in air quotes, because it's really easy to compare yourself to what other people are doing. And everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own circumstances. You can't compare your situation to their situation. And I think you should use other people's success to drive you, but I also think that you shouldn't compare yourself to them in the sense of, wow, look what they've done. I haven't done anything, right? Well, I guarantee you, if you sat down and without comparing yourself, you looked at what you did, you've accomplished things. So don't sell yourself short on that. Use the people that have done more and have done the things that you want to do. Use that as inspiration. Don't use it to beat yourself up that you haven't accomplished enough. And again, you don't know their circumstances. I compared myself a lot for a long time to friends and colleagues and people that were out there just killing it, and I was doing well, but I wasn't doing as well as they were, and at least not in my mind, right? I really don't know 100%, I guess, but in my perspective, they were doing a lot better than I was, and a lot of them, they didn't have kids, they didn't have family, and I don't say that in a negative to them. I'm just saying that my priorities were different because I have a family that I need to watch after and I need to take care of, I need to spend time with. And so, not having that just gives you different priorities and a different ability to go out and spend more time doing certain activities and pursuing your business, because, I'm not working until, and I know I said earlier about shutting off at 10 o'clock or whatever, but that was one of my things for a while, was like, being told, hey, these are tasks you should be doing at night, between 6 and 10 or 6 and 9 or whatever, when they're non-communication hours and things like that. And it's not a knock on that mindset necessarily, but for me, that didn't work. That didn't work because those are my hours with my family. So I would rather accomplish less and have time with my family than than utilize time in the evening to further my business at the expense of time with my family. So that's my choice. And again, that's so when you're comparing, someone else might be spending that time doing that, right? So, and that's why they're getting ahead, quote unquote. That's why they're maybe having some on the surface from the outside looking like more success because of different circumstances, different choices, and that's just, it is what it is. So don't compare yourself. You don't know all the circumstances. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle of how things come together, and you just need to make sure you're prioritizing what's important to you. This is another big one, and this kind of ties in with the last one. Don't make someone else's goals into yours. It is really easy with all the gurus, the mentors, all the different podcasts out there telling you to go buy 1,000 doors or earn X amount per month or whatever they've been able to accomplish or whatever their goals are. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those same goals. I'm just saying if that's your goal, make sure it is your goal. Make sure that that's what you want and not what you think you should want because someone said that you should want that, right? And again, this was a mistake I made early on, and I really didn't sit down and think about what I wanted. I was just looking at what other people were doing and what other people told me was possible, and all of those things are great. Again, I'm not knocking that. Like, you should look to that and you should know what's possible. But then you need to decide, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your day-to-day to look like? What are your goals? And why are you wanting to pursue this? And is that really what you want? Do you want to own 1,000 doors? Just because someone else does and someone else is doing it and it's possible doesn't mean that that's what's right for you. Maybe you only need 20 doors to get what you really want. So don't just take someone's goal, what someone says is possible, and just adopt it without questioning it and making sure that you put it through the filter of what you want. And I'd say that another tie into this is someone taking someone else's, or even taking your own thoughts, your past thoughts, and the way that you are wired and all of that. You should be looking at that and taking new information. And we're hardwired when we're really young, right? We're wired to believe certain things and have certain mindsets, and so you need to question those things from time to time and make sure, is this belief is it true? Is this what I am I accepting this as true? And if not, then alter that mindset, right? So that's what we're trying to do here, actually, essentially. Okay. Again, so you decide what you're after, the lifestyle you want, all of that. Don't let someone else decide that for you. Okay, here's another one. Be afraid often and move anyway. So if we're not afraid, if we're not nervous, if we're not, a little bit hesitant to move forward on something, then we're doing something wrong. We don't want to live in our comfort zone all the time. That's not where we're meant to be. That's not where growth happens. That's, it's comfortable. It's called the comfort zone for a reason, right? So, you know, you have to push yourself. You don't learn, you don't grow, you don't accomplish the things you want to accomplish without pushing yourself and without being a little bit afraid and a little bit nervous, right? Because if and the people that are able to push beyond that, those are the ones that are successful, because everybody else lets that stop them. They get to the point of, oh, this doesn't feel right. This feels a little bit beyond my comfort level. This is going to push me to learn new things, or this is, they may not even think of that with that awareness, right? They just have that discomfort of some of an unknown or something that's new or something that's beyond what they've done already, and so they let that stop them. Don't let that stop them. Feel it, acknowledge it, and move forward anyway. And it's that flight or fight in our minds, right? That's how we're programmed. Is this doesn't feel comfortable. This feels like I could get hurt, whether that's mentally or physically or whatever. And we pull back because we don't want to feel that, right? We have that flight mentality because we're trying to protect ourselves. But you have to push past that, and you have to move forward. Be smart. Don't do things that are stupid, right? Like, acknowledge it and know that it's there, but you have to push past that a lot of times and do things that are uncomfortable to be able to accomplish more. Okay, think abundance, not scarcity. I see this a lot with people that are out there that are not willing to share knowledge. They've accomplished, they've done well, but they want to keep it to themselves, right? That they're afraid that if they teach other people or tell people how they were successful, that now they're going to have extra competition, and so they'd rather keep for themselves. That's a greedy, selfish, scarcity mindset. Don't have that mindset. There's so many reasons not to have that mindset. There's so much opportunity. You need to have an abundance mindset, that there's more opportunity out there. There's enough opportunity for everybody to have a piece. And we've talked about this before, that when you have that scarcity mindset, you're afraid to take on partners. You're afraid to share a project. You're afraid to share ideas. You're afraid to share anything because you're so afraid someone's going to steal it from you or take a piece or something like that. When you have an abundance mindset, that's how you can do bigger deals, and you can bring in partners, and you can buy things together, bigger apartment buildings, commercial buildings, development, things like that you wouldn't probably be able to do on your own, or it's going to take you a lot longer to get there. Having an abundance mindset allows you to collaborate and work together and bring people on, and we're better together. We can do bigger things together than we can on our own. Think investment, not expense. This is another big one that I see a lot. And again, this is something that I fight. I'm a lot better at this now than I have been in the past, but I still fight it from time to time because you want to be wise with your money as well, right? But a poor mindset looks at money going out as an expense. And yes, it is an expense. On your bottom line, it is an expense. It is revenue going out versus coming in. But you have to also view it, assuming you're spending it wisely and assuming you're spending it on something that should deliver results. It's an investment. It's not an expense. If I hire someone to do tasks for me that I shouldn't be doing, or that I'm not good at, or that are just not a good use of my time, that is, yes, it's an expense to pay them, but it's an investment because that's going to deliver a return because I can now spend time on things that are going to produce the revenue, right? Instead of just these tasks that need to get done on a daily basis. So this is money, time, whatever one you're looking at. You're investing your money in these things. They're not, it's not just an expense. And yet there are things that are just expenses. That is true. But hiring a professional CPA, hiring a professional realtor, right? Hiring someone that knows what to do better than what you know what to do, and can find those extra tidbits in the tax code, or has the extra marketing strategy to maximize your sales price, whatever that is. They should pay for themselves. They're going to find those things rather than you just doing it yourself and, I can just do it and it's fine. Not only are you not the best one to do the job, because you're not qualified, they're the qualified ones to do it. They have more knowledge and ability to have a better result. But you're spending time, you think you're saving money, but you're really not saving money, because they should be saving you money, and you're spending time on that instead of doing the things that you should be doing. So it's a kind of a double whammy there. You're not really saving money, you're not saving time, that's for sure. So think of it as an investment, not an expense, and go through those things and in your monthly outgo and see what you've been considering your expense that's maybe an investment, and what things should you be doing and spending money on that you're not right now, because you would only looked at it as money out the door and not actually an investment in your business. Okay, we're gonna roll through these last few here to wrap up, but this is another quick one going along with that. Think of debt as a tool, not as something to avoid. Again, on the finance side, there's a lot of gurus out there that are very anti-debt. I'm not going to name any names, but debt is it can be bad. It can be very bad if you are using it in the wrong way. If you are going out and spending more than what you are bringing in, if you are living off your credit cards, if you are buying things that you shouldn't be buying because you just want to have them and you can't wait and you don't have that ability to have delayed gratification, then yes, that is bad. It can be bad if it is not used properly. And I always use the analogy, again, debt is a tool, right? So debt is like a chainsaw. If you use a chainsaw correctly, it's great. You can cut branches up really quick. You can cut down a tree. You can do things a lot quicker than you can with, trying to do it with an axe or something, right? But if you use it inappropriately, if you use it the wrong way, you're going to chop your arm off, right? So debt is the same way. You can use it properly. You can use it as a tool. You can leverage. You can use it to build your business. You can use it to buy more real estate. If you use it in the appropriate way, but if you use it in the wrong way, if you use it irresponsibly, that's when you run into trouble. So don't view debt as bad. You view it as a tool that needs to be utilized in the right way to create the results that you want, and use it responsibly. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up here with a handful that kind of all tie in. I'll jump into a story here because these all kind of tie in together. So this is kind of a summary, and there's some additional ones within here. But when things get difficult, it could mean a door is closing, or it can mean your resolve is being tested. So, you hear the analogy, the thought of, well, God just closed the door. The door's closed. That door's closed. So now I got to look for the next open door. Well, I'm not saying I disagree with that, but I also think sometimes you need to kick the door down. I think that sometimes, and so it is hard to discern when a door is truly closed and when it's just you're being tested or things are difficult. Things are difficult sometimes, and it's not meant to be easy. And so if you're waiting for an open door in the sense of something just falls in your lap and it's easy, you're going to be looking for a long time. Okay. That's just not how things work. You have to fight for the things that you want. You have to push and sometimes you have to kick that door down. So just know that when things are difficult, yeah, it could mean a closed door. It could mean that opportunity is not right for you, but it also could mean, hey, I gotta dig deep, I gotta lean in, and I gotta push forward, and I'm gonna make this happen. So that takes some discernment. It takes some really digging into the nuances of the situation. I can't tell you obviously when a door is closed for you and when it's open or when you have to kick it down, but just something to be thinking about within, don't just give up because an opportunity is difficult or because a door appears to be closing or whatever. Sometimes there's still an opportunity there, or it's still the direction you're supposed to go. You're just meant to fight for it. And on that note, so this is a little bit different sense of that, but I'm gonna get into the last three things here, and I'm gonna start with a quick story. So my two boys, 15, almost 13, they're scouts. They are working towards their eagle, and we went on a camp out this weekend, and it was freezing cold. Okay, we were up at Silver Falls State Park. There was snow on the ground. It didn't snow while we were there, but there was snow on the ground, and it did not melt. And it was very cold, and we spent 2 nights in below freezing in our tents. We went on a hike to see a bunch of the waterfalls during the day. That wasn't as bad because it was like maybe 40 something during the day. But it was cold. It was cold, and they wanted to quit. They definitely wanted to quit. They kept asking, especially after the first night, hey, we got to sleep in that again? That's crazy. I was cold. And they wanted to quit. They wanted to leave. And and they didn't, though. I pushed them, right? I pushed them to stay. We're going to stay. You guys can do it, right? We can get through this. Yes, it's difficult. And they did. And they pushed through, and they got through the hike, and they got through the second night. And yes, it was cold, but they made it. And after we packed up and we were sitting in our truck and getting ready to leave, I looked at them and I said, I want you guys to recognize that you just did something that you told me you couldn't do, that you couldn't make it, that you couldn't get through the next night, that you needed to go home. And you did it. You got through it. Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it was a little bit rough. It was it was cold. It was suffering, right? But you did it. And that's important. I want you to recognize that, because there will be times in life when you think you can't make it through, that you think that this is too difficult, and you can do it. I want you to know that, because in life, your choice is it's too hard, and so you make a poor choice and your life heads in the wrong direction, or you say, I can make it through this, and you push through and you dig in and you lean in and you get through that hard time. So when you think I can't go any further, yes, you can. You can go further. You can push through. You just need to dig deep and lean in. It doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's comfortable. Doesn't mean that it's going to be, a walk in the park. It's going to be really hard probably, but you can do it. You can tough it out. You can do more than you think you can. One of the other things that we were on the hike, so they were struggling on the hike. I think we hiked about 7 miles. And at the end, they were getting tired, especially my almost 13-year-old, and he was dragging. And I didn't say this to him, I should have, but it just reminded me that, when you're walking up those steep slopes, the worst thing you can do when you're tired is look at the top of the hill and see how far it is until you get to the top. And I think we do that a lot when we have these big goals and big aspirations. And we look at the top, of that mountain and this big end goal, and we think, I can never get there. There's no way. Look at the distance between where I am now and the top of that mountain. I might as well give up now, because there's no way I can get from here to there. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't have the skill set. I don't have the resources. I just can't. I can't do that. Well, when you put your head down and you look at the ground and you know that hill's in front of you, but you take one step at a time. You don't look at the top, you look at your next step and you just focus on that next step. That's when you can make it to the top. And before you know it, you're at the top of that hill and you're fine and you made it, but you took that mental block out of, wow, that is way up there. I can't do that. And just by just looking down and focusing on that next step. So whatever mountain you are trying to climb right now, whatever hill that you're looking at the top saying, I can't get there. That's just way too far. Stop looking at the top. You want that goal should still be there. It should still be in your head. But just for a minute, just stop looking at the top. Look at that next step. What is the next step that you need to take to get to the top of that mountain? Focus one step at a time. Don't let the big goal, that huge distance, be daunting to you. But just take that next step. Look down, keep your head down, one step at a time, and eventually you'll get to the top. So hopefully that's encouraging to you. I just felt like that experience this last weekend was just so applicable to this overall mindset topic that, yeah, things get difficult, things are hard. You get to points where you don't think you can push through, you don't think you can make it, but you can. And it's okay to go through hard times and to want to quit even. Just don't. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks again for listening. Please tune in next week for our financing update with Grant. I know he's going to have a lot of great things to share, and looking forward to seeing how this year is looking to wrap up and what things look like going into the new year coming up here in just a few weeks. So thanks again for tuning in. Make it a great day.